Hi guys, and welcome to my ranking of the Evil Dead films from the worst to the best. There are six movies to get through here, and as I said in my Evil Dead Burn review, I don't think that there's a bad movie in this. I think that this is one of the most consistent franchises in the horror genre today. So I don't think that there's a bad movie. So I think all of these movies I would give a positive review for. I would give a thumbs up to. So I think that it's just when picking like my favorites, it just kind of like comes down to more kind of like personal flavor and stuff like that. So yeah, without further ado, so let's get started with it. Right at the number six, I'm going to go for the latest installment of Evil Dead Burn. This very, very, very close to the next one on this list. So these two could interchange at any time. There really isn't much to choose between them. But right now, just based on gut instinct, I kind of like, yeah, I have to go for Evil Dead Burn. And like I said in my review, I gave that a positive review. I give it a thumbs up. I think that this does a lot of really good things right. I think the story that we get here is really engaging. I think this is the gnarliest one of the entry. The other thing that kind of like really lets it down is like this is most kind of like the dullest film to look at from an aesthetic point of view, and also I just think that some of the little holes that currently kind of like exist in its sort of in how kind of like the Deadites work and some of the inconsistencies with that just kind of like bug me. So that's the only real basis that I can really justify for putting at number six, just because the other ones don't have that list. So moving on to like number five, and that's going to be Evil Dead Rise. And yeah, again, I thought that we got a really engaging story here. We got one that very much continued the vein set out by the Fede Alvarez film. Again, it was played like kind of like as a straight up horror. I thought that the decision to kind of like move the action from like a cabin in the woods to kind of like this it's like a top floor like apartment, and kind of like making it the thematic story that's about motherhood and having the mother turn into a deadite. And for the first time this in this franchise, we kind of like then had kind of like children being kind of like the victim of a. I thought all of that was really good. The only thing I really kind of like lets it down is the finale in this. Although I really like the finale, I think it does. I think it does echo Fede Alvarez's finale a bit too much. It tries to be like just how it kind of like tries to be like really just have a have a blood to like totally rain down and just cover everything in blood. Just sometimes when the finale is played out, yeah, it is a bit too reminiscent of a Fede Alvarez's finale. So that's the only thing I kind of like really knocks it down here. Going up the list now, and coming in at number four, and I'm going to go for Army of Darkness. And this is the one that's the most difficult to place in this kind of ranking or judge, because, like I said, taking it as its own merits, I think that this is a really, really good film. I think this is a really entertaining film. I really like the fact that this was the first time they really took a massive shift with the law here, and they moved it to this like kind of like King Arthur and kind of like a medieval fantasy setting where you get you kind of have that. You have a lot of the kind of like Sam Raimi's making all this kind of like references here with like the slapstick comedy of like Three Stooges, and we have like Jason and the Argonauts references, Gulliver's Travels, and all of that, and it's still kind of like somehow is made to be a kind of like a coherent sort of sequel to the previous Evil Dead films, and you still see that connective tissue, and it's just like, how did you do this? So, there's a lot of stuff I really like about this. The only reason I kind of like place it here is because I feel like this is the one that feels the least like an Evil Dead film. So yeah, when this is the only film here that isn't like a hard R rating, so it just feels something a little bit off by that. But yeah, still a really enjoyable and solid movie. So then, coming in at number three, and I'm gonna to go for the original Evil Dead film. I think that this is out of that original trilogy of the Sam Raimi, Ash, Bruce Campbell trilogy. I think that this is the one that really, the only one that really kind of goes out for like kind of tries to be a straight horror. You do get like little bits of like slapstick humor and all of this here and there, but on the whole this is kind of like this is the one out of that original trilogy that is just generally trying to like kind of make you feel unsettled and trying to creep you out, and yeah, I think that for that reason, it does that. I think that the fact that what Sam Raimi was able to accomplish here on such a shoestring budget and with such limited experience as a director is like phenomenal. I'm really kind of like a big fan of that kind of like guerrilla type like filmmaking. And here, yeah, you just get a rawness to the action, which I just think has just been completely kind of like unmatched since. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it comes in at number three. So moving up the list now, my number two, and again, like I said, there isn't really much to choose between these two. These two could flip and change at any time. But right now, I'm going to go for my second place is going to be Evil Dead 2, and I think that what this movie basically does is it's kind of like part sequel, part remake. And yeah, but it basically kind of we get a lot of the stuff that we really liked about the first Evil Dead film, but it just kind of like ups the ante in terms of the comedy and the slapstick, and it just goes kind of like it doesn't take any waste any time kind of like get into the action, so it's just kind of like just bonkers from start to finish, and I just really like that. I think this was the film that kind of like introduced me to the Evil Dead franchise. I think I got wind of this film like at a time when I was like way too young to kind of like watch it, so it always kind of like has that little nostalgic element to it. But yeah, just absolutely a wild ride, a lot of fun, and yeah, that's my number two. So as you probably worked out, my number one currently is going to be the Fede Alvarez Evil Dead film, and this was a movie that I was kind of like skeptical on going into, but I was prepared to give it a chance, and I was generally really pleased by it. I think that this movie played out. It did omit some of the comedy in it, which is kind of like the one slight like little maybe gripe I would give it. But yeah, it plays as like a straight horror, and it basically just completely keeps up with that tradition of the Evil Dead movies of just being so over the top and so elaborate. With its use of that, we get like a thematic through line here, which is basically we have this group of friends who have basically took a friend on a retreat to this cabin in the woods, and the reason why they've done that is a kind of like an intervention for her drug addiction. So we kind of like have that as kind of like a thematic through line, which I think just works really well here. So yeah, and yeah, I just think that finale is absolutely insane as well. So that's the reason why it comes in at my number one. So yeah, thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. I'll be really intrigued to know what your ranking is, so please feel free to let me know down in the comment section below. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video. You guys take care.